Thanks to all of you guys for joining us Ignite today for the session we have titled Redefining Workforce Engagement with Contact Center AI. I'm Jeff Ma. I'm the VP of Startups at Microsoft, which means I run all of the startup programs. I joined Microsoft about 9 months ago after a 20-ish plus year career as an entrepreneur in the Valley, having started a variety of different businesses in technology, most recently a developer productivity and analytics company that I was fortunate enough to sell to Twitter. And I spent 3.5 years running data science and analytics there. Joined Microsoft with the ambitious goal to make startups a major sort of partner to Microsoft, and also to help startups leverage the value of Microsoft. So our goal is to really help startups at all phases of their journey, from idea to exit. And one of the areas that we think we're particularly well suited to help startups is their ability to sell into the enterprise. We have tremendous strength in the enterprise and penetration. Obviously, so many of the enterprises are on our stack. And as an entrepreneur, I know how difficult it can be to sell in the enterprise. So the idea of helping startups go to market with Microsoft and specifically accelerate their sales into the enterprise is something that I've been pretty fascinated in, and my team has been very focused on. So we've actually looked and tried to search for high potential startups that we think can really benefit from being part of our go-to-market motions. And one of those companies we're lucky enough to have join us today. It's Observe.ai, and we're joined by the CEO, Swapnil Jain, who is the founder and CEO. So Swapnil, thanks first for joining me.
Jeff, thank you very much for having me and Observe in this session. I'm excited to speak with you.
And then I'd love to hear a little bit about sort of what the reason why you started Observe was. What was the problem you were solving, and what was the motivation that got you to want to start this type of a company?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. So this goes back to 2017 when I left my job from Twitter, where Jeff, you and I worked together. And after leaving my job, I was trying to explore an idea to work on to start a company. As part of that, I spent a lot of time in Indian BPOs and call centers. So you have these big BPOs and call centers in India, in Philippines. I spent a lot of time on these contact center flows, doing user research, understanding behaviors, understanding what different workflows agents are doing, what different workflow supervisors are doing. And one thing I realized, which was very, very painful for me, Jeff, right? You and I sitting in San Francisco, California, we use the latest technology, the greatest technology, iPhone, iPad, Teslas around us. But when you go to these contact centers, which are doing calls and customer service, what you would see is how legacy the stack is and how manual the workflows are. Right? Just to give you an idea, and here we talk about cloud and how clouds change everything, how cloud has changed collaboration. But when you go to these call centers, you would see one person editing one tab in an Excel sheet, attaching as part of the email, naming a different version to it, going to the other person editing it back and sending with a different version name, right? You still see these legacy workflows. Another example, which was pretty sad to see, was you would have this quality assurance team. When you call your bank, you hear that your call is being recorded for quality training and assurance. And there's a quality assurance team whose primary job is to randomly pick one out of thousands of calls, download them in their laptop. Legacy players like VLC, Winamp from 1990s and 2000s, they would download the software, spend 1 hour trying to listen to a 10-minute call to understand what happened in the call. And that was the aha moment for me to understand, hey, why are these people, when in the age of cloud, in the age of AI, why are these people doing such legacy and manual work? There's an opportunity to use AI to transform the way contact center agents work, supervisors work, and thereby improve the customer experience that we all face when we call a call center, right? I'm sure every one of us have dealt with call your bank or calling your airline, being on hold for 20 minutes, and then getting transferred from one agent to other. And that's what excited us to solve. Can we use AI to transform the contact center and then thereby the customer experience?
That's great. So AI is obviously this amazing technology that promises a lot for everything, right? There's AI for this and AI for that. And sometimes I often think it's like almost a solution looking for a problem.
Yeah.
Can you give me some real tangible examples of ways that you're, in your early days that you've actually saved either money or time, and I guess time and money are the same thing, for one of your customers?
Why don't we start with a quick video? The team prepared a 2-minute video for us to see here. We would love to show that 2-minute video to you and the audience, and then I will use that to explain how customers have received value, both in terms of top line and bottom line.
Awesome. Let's see it.
All right. So let's put 2 minutes on the clock and we'll jump into the Observe AI platform. So I'm in the Observe AI platform now. We're transcribing and analyzing 100% of calls, and we're tracking all these key moments or points of interest. So we can click into this dead air moment, and we only see the calls here now that have dead air present somewhere on the call. Now we can filter this down even further very quickly and only see the calls with dead air, hold time violation, and negative customer sentiment. Now we have a long list of calls here, so we're just going to pick a random one here, all over 30 minutes. Going to bring us right into that call view. We're going to see this nice visual representation of the call, all the key moments and points of interest, and a full transcript as well. So we can bring up that evaluation form, and let's begin that QA process. Immediately we're going to be asked, did the agent verify the customer? Well, we can jump to that customer verification moment and see the exact point where that happened within the call. So we're going to say yes on that. Was there a hold time violation? Well, we'll be able to jump to that hold time violation as well. Actually, see there was 2 hold time violations. So we're going to say yes, there was a hold time violation, absolutely. And we're just going to put that there was 2 in here. And what you'll see next here is, did the agent express patience and courtesy anywhere on the call? Well, we can actually jump right to that point and see where patience and courtesy was displayed. Yes, there absolutely was. And was the customer upset at any point? Well, for us to see negative customer sentiment, we can click on this. It'll bring us right to that point where the customer was upset, automatically flagged with the Observe AI system. So in this case, yes, the customer was upset. Was there any dead air on this call? Again, we'll be able to quickly jump to the different moments. We'll see dead air over here. Click, it'll bring us right to that. There was dead air. And the last one, was empathy displayed on this call? Absolutely, we can see different evidence of that. Again, bringing us right to that point within the transcript. And time!
Jeff, that's a great example, an application of what AI can do in the contact center. What you saw was how we were able to take a tedious workflow for a supervisor or quality manager, where they would download the call, play on a VLC player, open an Excel to fill out a form, everything in one place, assisted by AI. Using this, we've been able to help businesses. A good example that comes to my mind is there's a big moving company based out of Midwest. As COVID hit, they were getting a lot of DSAT, poor CSAT reviews, and they didn't know what exactly was happening in the calls. Using AI, using Contact Center AI, using Observe AI, they were able to analyze 100% of the interactions, understand what is driving DSAT, what is driving poor CSAT, use that and go and coach their agents, thereby improving CSAT, and they were able to get $1 million additional revenue by using Observe AI and Contact Center AI in just 6 months of deploying Observe AI. So those are some tactical examples, Jeff, that I see where we've been able to provide real value very, very quickly in the contact center world.
So it's interesting, right? Because just from a product manager's perspective, as I am, and I look at your product and I think about the idea of AI, it seems like a very reasonable use of AI. Like it makes a lot of sense. How do you think about product development, or what your roadmap looks like by balancing like what is a cool thing to do from a technology standpoint and what actually is super usable or super important in the call center? Do you guys have like a lot of call center experts, or do you actually like work a lot with specific customers? Like, how do you balance that? Because I would assume that like if you get too focused on one customer and solving one customer's problem, you may not actually create the most scalable, ubiquitous solution.
Yep, absolutely. And I think, Jeff, you touched upon a very good point, which I believe is the biggest challenge with any AI software right now, where everyone is thinking about AI as a hammer that they have, and they're looking for nails inside the organization, right? So I got AI, what problem can I solve? And I think that's just the wrong mindset, right? Jeff, you come from a product management background. You would appreciate the core philosophy of product management is focus on problems to solve, focus on jobs to be done. And then how you solve that problem could be AI, could be non-AI, could be a software, could not be a software, right? So one principle that we really institutionalize inside the company is, let's not think about what's cool. Let's think about what solves user problems, So we don't like to talk in terms of features. We don't like to talk in terms of capabilities inside the company. We don't like to talk about like how cool AI is. What we like to talk about is what user problems we are solving, what customers or problems we are solving. That's how we've been able to drive a culture where we're not just building cool things inside the company in a lab, with research scientists, but we are out there solving real customer problems. That's number one. Second thing you touched upon, how do we make sure our solution applies across the customer base and not specific to one or two customers? What we do there, Jeff, is we have a very strong product development process where we have 3 stages of product development: labs, beta, and then GA. And what we really like to make sure in labs, we talk at least to 5 customers. In beta, we talk at least to 10 to 15 customers. So we don't bias our features. We don't bias our data set. That's another big problem in AI is you don't want to bias your data set in models to specific customer base. So by enforcing some of these guidelines on how many customers we need in each step of the phase of the product development, we ensure we're just not building product that applies only to one customer, but it applies to a wide variety of customers.
People ask me all the time, what are some trends or things that you think are happening because of the pandemic? And obviously the idea of remote work. Do you think that the call center sort of approach is forever changed because of this?
Yeah, so I think we actually did some research as we were thinking about the next product lines, Jeff, and we wanted to learn from our contact centers how they are thinking. We kind of saw a split where we saw most contact centers still wanting to go back in person. And the reason for that is with contact centers, with agents working from remote, they lost a little control on the kind of customer experience that you can provide because of the internet capabilities at an agent's home, the quality of the phone, the background noise, the tools they're using, data sensitivity, data security. All of that meant like today's contact centers are little apprehensive of going full remote because of these reasons. So we are seeing again and again, if I would sort of give you a number, I would say 80% of our customers are wanting to go back to office, and some of them, which are not in the United States, where lockdown has lifted, they have already gone back to in person. So to your point, no, I think this is Jeff. This is one industry that's going to go back to its original core. It's not going to stay remote, unlike a lot of other industries.
So how has it helped you so far to be aligned with Microsoft? Obviously, we're super happy to have you involved in the program. And as you mentioned, we work for the same team and sort of the same boss at Twitter. So was well aware of what you were up to and was excited to have you partner with us. What so far has been the value of working with us? What's the thing that you've liked the most?
Yeah, I think overall, Jeff, we've been super excited with our partnership with Microsoft. I think it's been a year. We have made tremendous strides. I would say like 2 broad buckets. One area where we've been very, very successful is how do we leverage Azure and how do we leverage Azure Cognitive Services in Observe AI stack? Observe AI today, does a lot of work on speech processing, ASR, speech to text, tonality-based analysis. We do a lot of work on the NLP side as well. And Microsoft, as you know, has built a great cognitive stack as well. So one big area that we want to go deep down with Microsoft and invest is how can we leverage some of the work that Microsoft has already done without reinventing the wheel. And we have seen huge success where the accuracies of our speech-to-text models, the NLP models, we have seen great improvements there. That's one area where we have seen significant improvement, Jeff. The other area, which I think you referenced in the beginning, is you help companies go up market, right? So in 2019, 2020, we saw great success in mid-market segment, typical 100K deal size, not really a Fortune 2000 company, a mid-market company in North America. But as we are scaling and as our ambitions grow, we really want to go to Fortune 2000, go to the likes of the big brands that we have all heard of. And that's where we really need some help from a brand perspective, from an access perspective. And Microsoft has already played a big role where they have given multiple opportunities for us to get in front of some of these big customers that we all want to get to. So that's been a big investment as well, and something that we have really liked. In terms of our strategy going forward, Jeff, 2021 and 2022 for us are going to be a big go-to-market year in terms of the growth. So you will see a lot of investments from Observe and commitment on the go-to-market front, so we can leverage the Microsoft customer base relationship to get into Fortune 2000 accounts.
What's the thing that you're most excited for in 2021 that isn't necessarily like the go-to-market or whatnot? Like, what's the cool feature that you think is going to be the thing that you guys roll out that everyone just goes, wow, I never thought that we'd be able to do it that way?
Absolutely. I think the big thing that's coming this year, there are multiple big things. The one thing that I'm most excited about, Jeff, is everything that you show, everything you saw in the demo that we just showed, it will be available real time. So we are going to provide real time coaching to agents as they are on the call versus the post-call feedback. Right now, the way this works is, you're an agent, you go on a call, you're doing, let's say, 20 calls a day, 600 calls a month. And 2 calls are reviewed, 3 calls are reviewed, and you're given coaching, and then hopefully you improve on them, right? What we want to change is we want to move coaching to real time as the interactions are happening, as the call is happening, as the chat is happening. So we will be launching real time capabilities in the market. We already are working with multiple customers on that capability, providing the value, and we've seen tremendous value to our customers in terms of reduction on the call time, improvement in CSAT, improvement in agent experience. So that's the one big thing that's coming out that's going to really, really transform how agents work, agent productivity, agent collaboration. That's the big theme of the year that'll be launching.
So it's almost like you'll have like real-time stats for these agents that give them
exactly.
immediate feedback on how to do better. So it seems like if you did that, you wouldn't need to have all the agents in one room, huh? You could actually go to a distributed workforce because they're constantly getting feedback.
Yes. You are right. If we can crack that, that's a big opportunity to continue reinforcing the remote world in the contact center market.
Last question for you. What role is sort of the role of employee engagement here? I mean, ultimately, that's kind of what this is all about for you, right? Is to give these employees feedback. But how do you guys think about that role of employee engagement and sort of like what you guys can do to continue to make them more engaged?
Yeah, I think, Jeff, and this is even more relevant in the remote world where there's very little in-person interactions. Agent or supervisor are not talking that frequently, or agent and their manager are not talking frequently. So now you have this agent who is sitting at home. He or she is kind of feeling lonely, and they're not really engaged with other employees. And that's been a bit of a challenge for these contact centers, right? Who have thousands of agents who are all remote, who are not connected to the company, who are not feeling the company, who are not engaged with the company, who are not engaged with other employees. And I think where we see a massive opportunity is by making the employee interactions, by making the whole agent training and coaching process more and more collaborative, more and more transparent, more and more data-driven. We believe there's a massive opportunity for these businesses to build better bonds, better connection with their employees, for these supervisors to build better engagement and better feedback loop with their agents, and sort of like transform the way contact centers have thought about employee engagement, especially in the COVID world, right? So just by enabling better human interactions, better data-driven interactions, transparent interactions between humans, we believe like the employee engagement in the contact center market is gonna change significantly.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I had started this company 10Xer, which was the company that sold to Twitter. And the whole goal of it was to create analytics around knowledge workers that they could sort of use to better understand their own performance. So it's funny, like now really sitting down with you and leaning in on this, there's so many similarities and a lot of war stories. Like I kind of feel like your timing has been much better because you're in a position now where technology like AI can allow you to, better like solve the promise of using data and analytics to sort of solve a real problem, which is
absolutely
being able to manage these call centers at scale. Thanks so much for joining us, Swapnil. This has been awesome to learn more about Observe.ai. If you guys want to learn more about Observe.ai, go to www.observe.ai. And to learn more about them and their upcoming product launch, Agent Performance and Coaching, you can go to the live webinar, which is on March 9th, and you can register in the link that's below in the comments. One of the reasons that I love working at Microsoft and really leading all the startup programs is getting to work with people like Swapnil who are using our technologies and our platform to solve very important customer problems and partner problems. And it's just so exciting to be on the cutting edge. Before when I was an entrepreneur, I only got to like work on one company at a time. Now I'm getting to work with, hundreds that we're going to be partnering with. So it's super exciting. So it's great to have you on board. It's great to have you to join us. And thanks so much for your time today, Swapnil.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We have thoroughly enjoyed our partnership, and we're excited to double down on the partnership in 2021 and 2022. Thank you so much.